My name is Savannah Arroyo, and before we get started, I want to first congratulate you all on your graduation from the Nurse Mentorship Academy. I have been a registered nurse now for over 9 years, and it has been one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. It has provided so much flexibility in terms of different schedules, different settings to work in, different specialties. It's allowed a lot of flexibility to my life and a decision that I'm very grateful that I made. And before we get started talking about investment and finances specifically for healthcare professionals, I want to give you guys a little bit more information about myself. All right. So my name is Savannah Arroyo, CEO and founder of Net Worth Nurse. I am a registered nurse and have been in healthcare for over 9 years. I've worked in a bunch of different settings, med-surg, tele, oncology. I did pre-op PACU, ortho, worked in the cath lab, IR, GI, non-invasive cardiology. And in the last 4 years, I was specifically working in administration. So I was overseeing an ortho practice, all the clinical aspects of that for 3 years. I was the supervisor for that. I oversaw 4 ambulatory orthopedic offices, loved that job. Working in ambulatory setting as a nurse is a really different opportunity that we didn't learn a lot about in school. And so that was a really cool experience. And then after that, I went back into the acute care setting and I was the assistant nurse manager for the cath lab, IR specials, and then did that. And then I started investing in real estate at the beginning of 2020. So I had just had my second daughter, was really looking for another way to generate multiple streams of income. So I wanted to not be so reliant on my job. And especially as I was coming back from maternity leave, it was a big realization that I had to go back to work when my baby was 3 months old because I was dependent on a paycheck, and that was probably the last break that I was going to get until retirement. And so when that realization sunk in, I started looking for different ways that I could start investing my money and growing wealth. And so my husband and I started investing in real estate. And so that was when we founded Willow Investment Group. That's our real estate company at the beginning of 2020. And we were new in real estate, didn't know anyone else doing it, had to educate ourselves a lot, read a lot of books, YouTube videos, podcasts. And we were really, really motivated. And within our first 6 months in real estate investing, we did purchase 38 units. We bought a couple single family homes on our own and then started doing real estate syndications. So for any of you guys who aren't very familiar with that, I had no idea what this was at all 2 years ago as well. Syndications are opportunities for people to pool together their resources, their capital, their skill sets, and go out and buy big real estate deals that they normally couldn't buy on their own. And so we go out and we purchase apartment complexes, and we have people who passively invest with us side by side, and they take a very passive approach. And then we go out and we're really active in these investments, finding the deal, doing the due diligence, getting the financing for it, overseeing the deal throughout the lifetime investment. And so that's what we do at Willow Investment Group is we go out and purchase these apartment complexes. And then we have people who want to get into real estate investing, but don't want to do any work, and they invest with us passively. So I have a lot of healthcare professionals who love what they do, love working at the hospital and providing healthcare, and they're making good money. And so they then put this money into these real estate investments, and it's a great way to grow their wealth. So since I've started that investment company, I've raised over $3 million. Like I said, primarily from healthcare professionals. And then through my company, Net Worth Nurse, I've coached dozens of healthcare professionals into their first investments, whether that be real estate or passively investing. And so that's a little bit more information about me. I really set out on this journey a couple years ago as I was sharing what I was doing with real estate investing and growing my financial health and becoming more aware of that. I started sharing what I was doing on social media. And so I'm super active on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, even TikTok and Twitter. And I started sharing with people what I was doing in the investing world, and gained a lot of traction, and a lot of people, a lot of nurses and healthcare professionals who wanted to get more information about this. And so through Net Worth Nurse, we started creating dozens of free resources. If you head over to our website, networthnurse.co, there's tons of blogs. There's over 100 podcasts that I've been guest episode in where I talk about my journey. We have downloads and spreadsheets. We also have a couple of courses that are for purchase over there. And so we've just become really, really passionate about sharing all this information with healthcare professionals because you guys need it. Healthcare professionals are really where my heart is at. And I just want, especially throughout the COVID pandemic, I saw a lot of people get hit really hard financially. And so creating all these resources is really just our way of giving back to the healthcare community and spreading the knowledge of how to get more control over your finances. So I'm going to share with you guys a roadmap that we have, and this is available on our website. You can go over there and download it for free, but this is our personal finance roadmap. And this is something that we really recommend anyone who's just getting started on learning about their personal finances and how to grow wealth and how to invest. This is really a good roadmap for how to get started. And we go through the roadmap on 5 different steps. Step 1 is your employer match. Then step 2, we kind of talk through setting up an emergency fund. Step 3 is debt payoff, making sure that getting rid of that debt will allow you more opportunities to invest. And then step 4, looking into your Roth IRA and health savings accounts. There's huge tax advantages to investing in these types of accounts. And then also step 5, real estate, stock market, crypto, and side hustles. So these are great ways to build wealth as well. So kind of rolling through this, step 1, the employer match. So you always want to ensure that you're contributing to your employer's retirement plan. And if they do match, you want to make sure that you're contributing at least to what they're matching you, because this is free money. So for example, if your employer pledges to match 5% of your income, you want to at least allocate 5% of your income towards your retirement plan, because in a way you're going to be doubling this if your employer is going to be matching it. So check in. If you're not sure about this, definitely check in with your HR department and they will let you know what this does. And then we have some examples down here of really what this can do to your income, the ability to contribute pre-tax money. And then moving into step 2, an emergency fund. So financial emergencies are inevitable, unfortunately. And so it's always good practice to have an emergency fund set aside. If this is new for you, this is really just a peace of mind as you go out. It can be exhausting if you are working and saving and you're building up your fund and then your car breaks down and you have to spend $900 to it. Whereas opposed to if you have this emergency fund already built up, it would allow you to kind of keep that momentum going. So, and then always want to point out buying luxuries like a new iPhone 13, that is not an emergency. So really taking into consideration what's going on with your finances. General rule of thumb is to have 3 to 6 months of your living expenses stored in an emergency fund. So that's something that we recommend looking into at this point as well. And as you're going through this, if this is really your first time digging into your finances and you're not really sure what a lot of these terms mean, and it can be so overwhelming in the beginning. I remember I was there. I remember sitting down at my first job and they were showing me Fidelity and trying to set up my retirement account. And I had no idea what an IRA was or what a 401k was and what the percentages were and what it means. And so just be patient at this stage of the process. This is your assessment phase. So coming in with your nursing hat, assessing is always the first step. And so if this is new to you and you've never looked at even where your money is going, it can be very enlightening to come at it with an assessment mindset of like, okay, you're just going to assess what's going on with your finances, what the money looks like, where it's going, what your options are. And then from there, you're able to make interventions, right? So looking into your emergency fund, just kind of looking at your finances and what that looks like, looking at your monthly expenses. This can be an eye-opening experience for people. as well. And then step three, pay off your debt. So unfortunately, a lot of us healthcare professionals accrue debt when we are going on to pursue our degree. It's just a part of the process. Physicians get hit hard with this, nurses as well, physical therapists. So a lot of us are dealing with debt when we come out of school and we start earning a paycheck. So a big priority is paying off this debt because generally this debt is accruing at an interest rate that is higher than you could be able to invest. And so it's always good to be aware of what the different interest rates are with your debt and whether or not it makes sense to pay it off before you start investing. One thing I do want to point out with this is not all debt is bad. And this is something that you'll learn, especially if you start learning more about real estate investing. One of the things that makes real estate investing so powerful is that you can leverage debt from a bank to go out there and buy real estate. And this is really seen in the asset class of real estate that isn't seen in any other asset classes, is the ability to go out and buy and $1 million real estate property with only $250,000, because in most cases, a bank will give you a $750,000 loan to go out and buy that $1 million property. You cannot do this in gold. You can't do this in stocks. Nowhere will you see someone who gives you a loan to go out and buy $100,000 worth of gold with only 25,000. So the ability to leverage debt and other real estate investments is a very smart tool. So we do not want to label all debt as bad. This is really to get more insight into what debt is doing in your life in terms of what interest rates it's currently at and how much you're paying that off, and then how big of a cloud that is on top of whether or not you're going to be able to invest. So we have a couple tools on our website, a debt snowball, debt avalanche plan. We have different spreadsheets where you can kind of check this out and see what it looks like to actually pay off debt. This is a great checklist that we created. Start a budget, cut all expenses that don't add value to your life, find ways to increase your income, and then track your debt and budget every 2 weeks. So you want to get into the habit of this just so you can have a good idea of what's going on with your finances. It'll give you better insight to make decisions that'll give you more leverage moving forward. And then step 4, the Roth IRA and health savings account. So these are two really great investment vehicles where no taxes are owed when you withdraw. So this is great. Usually healthcare professionals especially are hit heavily by the tax burdens. And this is a great way to kind of avoid some of those taxes. So with a Roth IRA, you pay no taxes on the investment gains when you retire. And then there is a max contribution of $6,000 a year. And this does change occasionally, so make sure that you stay up to date. You do want to be giving the max contribution if possible, because this is a great way to grow wealth tax-free. And then again, kind of breaking these down a little bit further, showing the differences between the Roth IRA and a health savings account. Health savings accounts are triple tax advantaged. So this is something that we have always, with my husband and I, made sure to have in our employer plans, a health savings account, because you can go out and buy certain medications and different health supplies pretty much tax-free. And then step 5, real estate, stock market, crypto, and side hustles. So this is the fun part, right? So this is the stage in your journey where actually wealth building begins. And these are different opportunities where you can really grow well and start investing. So savings accounts are, so one thing I want to talk about in this section. So when I would share this information with nurses and me investing in real estate and crypto, and I had a nurse tell me once, wow, I applaud your risk-taking ability to be able to invest in real estate. And as I started asking her a little bit deeper about what she does with her money, she says, oh, we don't invest in anything. We're savers. We've been saving our whole lives. We have, $100,000 sitting in a savings account. And as I started learning a little bit more about what she was doing with her finances, I then went on to explain that money sitting in a savings account, that is so risky, especially with what is going on with inflation and the economy right now. Money sitting in a savings account where it's accruing no interest, and with inflation, that money is actually losing. So if you have $100,000 sitting in a savings account, it's not getting any interest. It's just sitting there. It will lose money over time because of inflation. And so that is where you want to take this money and now invest it in cash flowing assets like real estate, crypto, different side hustles. And moving on, 90% of the world's millionaires invest in real estate. And so there's a lot of huge opportunities, especially in real estate investing, huge tax advantages, the ability for loan pay down, cash flow, appreciation. Real estate produces cash flow every month. So there's a lot of different opportunities in real estate, especially where you can grow wealth. And so these really start with education. So as you're moving into side hustles, cryptocurrency, even back into real estate and stock, when you start investing in these different categories, you really want to make sure that you're educating yourself and either getting that information from people that you trust, or you're getting information that you can verify with other information from different people. You always want to make sure that wherever you're getting the information is from a trusted, vetted source. Unfortunately, in the internet and even in mail and on the phone, there's so much scam going on. And you always want to be very cognizant and aware of where you're investing and educate yourself first. So you'll see nurses that are doing IV infusion clinics, concierge nursing, different nurse coaching, legal nursing, and then even in real estate. So if this is something that is interesting to you or you want to get more information, I would first suggest to reach out to people who are doing it. So if you see nurses out there who have an IV infusion clinic and you're wanting to do one, reach out to them, see if you can hop on a call and see how they got started, if you could pick their brain. If you see other nurses that are investing in real estate and that that's what you want to do, reach out to them. See if you can get any resources. Like I mentioned, we have courses, different tons of free material on our website. I'm more than happy to set up coaching calls to walk people through this as well. But the biggest takeaway that I want all of you guys to have with this is really the ability to start growing wealth now and to have multiple streams of income. And you could think, now, working at a nursing job that you have your paycheck coming in, but what were to happen if you didn't have that paycheck anymore? For me, it was on maternity leave. That was my only stream of income. Now I have real estate investments that are bringing in different streams of income. I have side hustles that are bringing in different streams of income. So I was actually able to go down part-time at my nursing job. And now I work a couple days a week and I have my other investments that are bringing in different streams of income. And so I'm not completely reliant on my job anymore. And it allows me to go to work way more fulfilled, able to give way better care to my patients, and just be able to provide a lot more opportunities for my family. And so nurses, especially, you guys are in a great position to take your money and put it to work for you. And that is exactly what investing is taking that money that you're earning from your job and putting it to work for you in investments. And so that those are generating income for you. And so that now is bringing in passive income into your life. And so once you start learning about those different opportunities, you'll realize this is the best way to grow wealth. And so with that, I'm running out of time, but it was so great to be able to present to you guys all different ways to grow wealth and to become a little bit more knowledgeable and cognizant of your finances. Like I said, you can reach out to us on networthnurse.co, or you can find me on all social media accounts as the Net Worth Nurse or Net Worth Nurse. More than happy to connect with anyone who wants to learn more. And thank you.